Hello, my lovely Virgos. This is your reading for the week of February 24th, or whenever you come across this. So, as I was starting to do your reading today, I saw you walking along a path. And it was a pretty little garden path, but not too rich with flowers right now. And some kind of dry branches, and you're looking at it, at where you are in the path. And then you're turning around and you're looking back at what's left behind. And I feel when I tune into these cards and when I see that, I just feel like I want to wrap you up in love. And I want to say, don't look back and don't feel bad for whatever happened, for what you've left behind, for what you fear you haven't lived. The sense that I'm getting with this reading as I'm tuning in is that for some of you Virgos, I'm getting a sense that there is really remorse over loss that you have not really made peace with in some ways, and it's causing you to not really be able to look up and see beyond. And it feels as though, as I'm looking down this path, it looks like it's getting narrower. And I just want to say, you don't need to have any self-recriminations. You've lived what you've lived because you needed to live what you needed to live, period. And that you've learned from it and you've grown from it. And if you have any remorse at all, please use this only as a way to say, what would I like now? Just because the path looks narrow and because you're in this state where you might be looking at the things that you've lost, doesn't mean you can't have something even more beautiful. What I'm hearing is that some of you are feeling bad for what you think you could have had but didn't. And that's useless. That's a useless waste of energy, because what you think you might have been able to have at a particular point wasn't necessarily what it would have been had you had it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you're mourning something that you didn't have. You're mourning the memory of what you might have had, but not what you actually had. Okay? So what you're really being encouraged to do here is to let yourself go. Cut yourself some slack, Virgo. And realize, please, that you have got so many things to be grateful for. And one of the things that you can be grateful for is the fact that you have the ability to actually create what you want. You have the ability, and it doesn't matter how old you are, what stage of life you're at, you have the ability to create. You have the ability to dream. So if you are going back over sad memories, use that as your springboard for what would you like it to be. Really, really focus on what you would like, okay? What do you like in yourself? What would you like to grow in yourself? What qualities of life or experiences in life would you like to have that you haven't had? Assume that you have the ability to have it. Please, I'm being told, because you haven't had it is not a sign that you cannot have it. Quite the contrary. The fact that you haven't had it means now that you are yearning for it. So don't go into resistance around the possibility of future wonderfulness. Allow yourself to dream without that sense of frustration with it. Use that point of frustration that you're feeling in your life now. The disappointment with what the path looks like, with the fact that it looks narrow, with the bushes that are not blooming. Use that as your jump off point to say, well, guess what? I have the power to dream. And by staying in an energy of gratitude and acceptance of possibilities, I actually can create and turn this into the most beautiful garden. I can actually move beyond a garden and move completely into nature, into a meadow, into wherever I want it to be. I want to read you gratitude because I think it's super important here. It feels big and opens everything, our hearts, minds, and hands. In these moments, we're not grasping. We're free of all yearning because in that state, our fulfillment is complete. It's a selfless emotion with no demands or hidden agendas. It presents us in our real and powerful vulnerability. In that humble state of vulnerability, we've created the space within us to receive more. Today, give thanks for everything, whether it looks good or bad. Give thanks. Allow yourself to open up. When you're blaming yourself or when you're resting in disappointment, when you are in any kind of negative contracted energy, you are closing off the flow of energy into your life. By allowing yourself to dream about the possibility without going into remorse or disappointment because you didn't have it yet, by allowing yourself to stay in the energy of openness, which is what gratitude is about here, you allow it to come into your life. All right? So whatever resistance you're feeling, use that as your jump off point rather than your end point. And breathe. Breathe. Stay present. Don't go back into the past. Stay present. Allow yourself to imagine and understand that this, as you make new choices, as you allow yourself to dream and define your choices, that's how you create your future. All right? Virgo, it's actually beautiful. It's really Spirit saying, okay, listen, listen, listen. You can have beauty. You can have love. Allow yourself. Be free from the past. Mourn the loss if you need to, but understand it as a movement forward, not as a sinking back into the past. Virgo, for everything that you think you haven't had in terms of living from your heart, because you have often been very guarded, you can. You can move towards that. You can welcome it in. But you got to welcome it in. If you're going to welcome it in, you got to give it a space to land in. And that is a certain acceptance of vulnerability. Okay? Please remember, in the idea of manifesting, it's allowing ourselves to be in that state of feeling as though we already have it. So stay in the dreaming state only as long as you can stay in the imagining of having it. Okay? That's it, Virgo.